I just realized. Oh, first of all, we got the Adultitis Fighter. We get a couple memes.
Nice.
A meme of the moment. Okay, so you had mentioned earlier that our air conditioning broke the other day.
Yes.
Now today the whole air is air conditioner. It's cold again, but it was very hot a couple days ago, and of course the air goes out, and it was tough sleeping in the bedroom that night.
Yeah, it was hot.
So I thought this was appropriate. I don't want to say it's hot in my room, but two hobbits just came around and threw a ring in it. So, I could relate to that one.
Oh, you're on fire.
I felt bad for Ben because he famously doesn't open windows in his room. He told me he doesn't like the birds waking him up in the morning.
What a life.
Yeah.
Oh, birds,
So he was really in a hot box that night. I don't know. But
to his own doing.
Yeah, it was his own fault. Yeah. But I also had one more that's good for any parents out there, especially of young children. Summertime, you kind of are a little bit more lax. So the parenting style during summer break, I'll allow it. It's a little...
That's fine.
Pretty much anything goes.
Just leave me alone. Yeah.
All right. So I am bummed out because I do not have the actual story in front of me on this one. But I think I may...
Actually, isn't it on your desktop somewhere?
No, because I did not save it. Because I was like, oh, I printed it out. But I can find it in a second to find the actual details. Okay. Bear with me.
That's all right.
But there was a woman who, unfortunately, her husband passed away. And she had the idea that they had young children. And instead of doing a funeral, traditional funeral, she did a FUN-eral.
A FUN-eral. Which is actually spelled the same way.
Yes. So that's why you have to kind of hyphenate it. Okay, yeah. Here it is. Let's see if I can. Good thing I have two screens here. I thought this was pretty cool. So they had a bouncy castle and goodie bags there. And so it was in Arizona. And let me see if I can find the name. Katie Young suddenly lost her husband, Brandon, who had a stroke at the age of 39. So terrible. And they had 3 kids. And Katie said, I didn't want them to have this horrible memories of their dad's send-off. I was thinking that my children, how hard it would be. It felt so wrong. So instead of holding traditional service and wake, she made a FUN-eral, ensuring the day would be a celebration of Brandon's life. Sounded like that Brandon was quite an adultitis fighter himself. So she featured his favorite foods, chips and dips, and displayed his artwork and vast record collection so anyone could take home a goodie bag of items that would keep his memory alive. They had crafting tables that were set up for people to make their own art. And she said, every time I started thinking about planning a traditional funeral, I did not want to do it. So she decided to host a celebration that her husband of 16 years would have enjoyed. Katie said she knew the day was perfect when she looked over at their children and they all had smiles on their faces. So that was pretty cool. Wow. I think there's obviously nothing wrong with traditional funerals and wakes and processing grieving that way, but it definitely is a rule that doesn't exist, that you have to do it a certain way. And I thought that was a pretty cool way in this instance for Katie to memorialize her husband and make a pretty cool memory for the kids and celebrate him and
is this
have
kind
it
of
for
a
the family
recent story,
too.
Do you think?
Yeah, this was in the last month or whatever. So the final note, she said, Brandon loved being a dad more than anything else on earth. He would have been happy that his kids were happy. Aww. So super cool.
It's heartwarming.
Yeah, it's obviously sad, but also pretty happy. And again, that is the sort of thing that should be front page of the news, if you ask me. Yeah. So wanted to highlight that as a great example of a great adultitis fighter. Okay.